Hello, hello, hello. How's it going, people? Welcome to the stream. Welcome, 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 welcome. Today was a big day. Arsenal's, well, technically a big day. Arsenal's final big preseason game before Premier League kicks off legitimately in 6 days. So that was massive one. Arsenal versus Lyon, 2-0 win. Gabriel scores, Saliba scores 2 goals from set pieces. Set piece FC is back by the looks of things, and all is set in motion. But besides that, obviously, some players played. We had the debut of Calafiori. We were controlling most of the game. We're gonna get into that in a second. We're gonna look at this, how it went, why it went in certain instances. And one of the biggest worries I still have for the next season for Arsenal, because there were some points in the game which really instantly made my heart drop straight down into the, well, sewers in a way. Let me fix the camera. Straight down into the sewers, and I got me very worried. So we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about transfers still, because there's still some transfers, some rumors going on. Of course, Daily Merino is still a thing, and some players are set for new contracts potentially. So we're gonna talk about all that. And if you're new around here, don't forget to smash a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. We are aiming for 200 subs before Premier League kicks off. So basically in 6 days. Arsenal versus Wolves, watch along, be there. I will be streaming that and all those things. Now the only thing about that is though, I have a flight 20 minutes before the game kicks off. So I might be about half an hour late, which is kind of mad. Unfortunately, the flight got scheduled for that instance at that time. Obviously, on Friday, I will know more details whether it's going to happen or not, because everything depends on weather. So we'll see how that goes, but I might be late. So I'm very sorry if that will be the case. Obviously, Friday, I will tell you the latest update on that, of course. But before we get into things, big up Rebecca in the chat, and big up Nick. It's not showing. Hello, Vancouver, Canada. Why is it not showing? Give me a sec. Something's not right. Something is not right. It's not showing the chat. It's not showing the chat. Hey, yo. Let me fix this quickly. Let me see whether it's gonna work now. Because, hey. Okay, this is no bueno. Give me a sec, let me try and fix this while I'm live, because for the first time ever, the pop-up chat is not working. Let's see. I'm very sorry, it's looking very scuffed, but some things need to get fixed instantly. We're gonna go to the live. Let's see. Let's go here. Save. It's not showing. Hey. You see it? Because I'm clicking and it's not showing. Hella weird. It should be showing. If I do this. Hold on. This will be a very scuffed start of the stream, but I need to fix this. Because it don't tell me I have to turn off the stream and start it all over. It should be showing now. I'm clicking and it should be showing, because it's showing to me, but it's not showing here. What the hell has happened to the stream? Hello? Hey, YouTube. Hello? I really don't want to stop the stream, but I may have to, just to make the chat to work. Oh my god. What the hell is happening here? I'm very sorry about this. Very sorry. Didn't expect that. We're gonna get into transfers Lyon game in a second. I just need to fix this damn chat thing. You don't see it as well, right? When I click it for it to pop up, it doesn't show, correct? Because for me, when I watch it back, it doesn't show me. Okay. It's still not popping up. Hey, Dios mío, Costanza Bomboniera. What the hell is... Wait. It's really not showing. Holy moly. Okay, give me a sec. I will turn off the stream and illegitimately in 3 seconds go live back again. Although, nah, I can't do it. I don't want to do it. I will just read it out for this time and I'm gonna fix it for the next one. I'm very sorry about that. I'm very, very sorry legitimately that it's not working. Because... What the hell is this? What the hell is this? I'm kind of confused here. I'm not gonna lie. I'm very sorry. I'm very, very sorry. Genuinely. It's hella weird. Very, very weird. Very weird. Anyways, Arsenal 1-2-0 against Lyon. Let me know your thoughts in the chat. I assume you all watched the game. Let me know what you thought about performances, issues you saw, things you liked, things you didn't like. Let me all know that in the chat. Let me know what did you see in the game, what you didn't like in the game, what you want maybe changed, and what was your biggest worries from the game, and something that really impressed you from the game as well. If there was something that really impressed you, let me all that know down in the chat. I would like to discuss this, because there are some instances in the game that were a bit worrisome for me. I'm not gonna lie, that were somewhat worrying for me. At the same time, some of them were very, very good. Now, okay, let's try it this way. This will look very scuffed, but it might work actually. Genuinely doing this live is not ideal, but hey ho, we move. Like this? Something like this? Let's see. Let's see. It's not working! Why? Oh my god, this is so bad, so bad, so bad, so bad, so bad. Anyways, I guess today we don't have a live chat by the looks of things. By the looks of things today, we are living without a live chat. Which is not ideal, but, well, we're gonna move from there. Welcome Nick to the chat, welcome Rebecca to the chat, welcome everyone who is here. Welcome, 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 welcome. Arsenal 1-2-0. It was a very weird game because Arsenal were very convincing, yet at the same time there were some instances Arsenal did good. Most of the time they were controlling the game and everything was working fine. The biggest, some of the things I saw was something similar like last year when Set Piece FC is back. Scoring goals from set pieces, looks like they have worked on that as well. It really kicked into gear in today's game. Let's see if that translates into Premier League, because we were the team that scored the most goals last season from set pieces. Let's see if that translates into the game for the next season, because every single team will be more aware. Let's see what Jover has drawn up on the board for that. We controlled the game, we had some good chances. We scored, we tried to create, it was working fine. The starting 11 for this game, pretty much for me, kind of rang the bells that it will be the same starting 11 we might see next Saturday against Wolves as well. With Zinchenko at left back, Gabriel, Saliba, White, Raya of course, Partey, Odegaard, and everyone. Definitely could ring, and not Jorginho, but definitely that could be the starting 11 for the game. Two things I didn't like from the game. As soon as we took off some of our main guys, specifically defensively, we started to concede more chances, which kind of is expected. At the same time, it's not great because it actually shows that our defense is not good enough. Kivior, the right center back, kind of fluffed it. They went one-on-one and Raya made a wonderful, just incredible reaction save with his left arm. That was great, and saving himself a clean sheet, which was kind of fantastic. I really like that save, which shows that he can actually make a save proper one-on-one. He actually did great. Question is what he would do. It was outside from the box because his positioning last season was a bit questionable in those instances. The other part I didn't like was the finishing ability, especially when Havertz was playing as number 9. He had 2 or 3 chances, and one of them was a chance where he had open space. He had about 60% net open, and he just shot it. He was on the left side of the goal, on the edge of the box, and he legitimately nearly hit the right side corner flag. Literally scuffed it, just massively. It was kind of wild. And in these instances, if you get at least one chance like that against, I don't know, City, it might be the only chance you actually kind of get. And we need a player who actually could maybe get it at least on target, because that was one of the worries. One of the worries is still that we don't have a clinical striker. And in that instance, it showed massively. Because Havertz, even he had the ball on his strong foot, mind you, in that instance, he totally scuffed the shot. And the other thing is also connected to the strikers. And forwards in general, to be honest. Martinelli went 2 or 3 times down and hit the ground pretty heavily. He was lying on the ground, he was in pain, especially with that shoulder. First time looked the worst, the second time as well, it looked like he injured the same place. And if he gets injured in that instance, that could be kind of done and dusted, even though Martinelli looked lively and he actually had some good moments there, good crosses with his weak foot as well to the far post crossing to Saka, and then him shooting at goal or dropping it back into the middle of the box is something we didn't see a lot last season, but this season we might see quite a bit more. It looked like a new tactic we are experimenting with and deploying into the game. So that will be very interesting how that goes. But overall, yeah, Martinelli went down a few times. I thought if he gets now carried off injured, we have to play Trossard, which is not a bad thing. Let's be real. We, in that left wing side, we are safely covered. However, my heart dropped the most when Jesus went down in the middle of the field in that central circle. He went down, he had medical attention taking care of him, then he got up and was playing, and he kept on playing. But the first 2 things that came into my mind, first things first, Jesus injured. I really hope he's okay. Second thing that went into my mind, if Jesus is injured, we don't have a striker. We genuinely don't have a striker and even a hypothetical backup for Bukayo Saka, because Jesus can play that right wing spot very well, and some of his best performances, not even for Arsenal but also for Manchester City, has come when he was playing that right wing place. So definitely that was one of the biggest things that instantly crossed my mind as soon as Jesus went down. Because Jesus' injury track record, especially for Arsenal, it's not the greatest. And having that he kind of looks like now a very injury prone player really kept me on my toes when I was watching. Every time he went down, he was holding his ankle, holding his knee, holding his leg. And it was very worrying. So that remains to be seen what's going to happen with that, of course. But that kind of showed me how much we need a striker. We need a number 9, even as a backup, even if we don't sign a main number 9. Because the thought instantly as Jesus goes down is, if my thought is, I hope he's okay, oh crap, we don't have a striker anymore, it's not a good thing to have. Because we don't have backups or even starting spots, good ones, in certain places in the team, and we haven't addressed that over the years. We have had striker issues since Aubameyang left, let's be real. And Arteta hasn't signed a striker, out-and-out striker ever. He signed Jesus, he signed Marquinhos, and he has signed Trossard. Those are the only attackers he has signed. Yes, you can say he signed Havertz, but he said himself that Havertz for him is a midfielder. So it went for a half a season, and then he started to throw him on top, and shockingly he actually improved in performances, and team's performances improved instantly. So he kind of maybe has admitted finally that he is a number 9, because we don't see him as much in that 8 spot, although he rotates in there during the game time to time, so that maybe he's still in that spot. But the fact is, if Jesus goes down injured, we're done. We don't have a number 9. We genuinely don't have a number 9. Because playing Havertz throughout the whole season at number 9, for me personally, is not a sustainable model to try and win the Premier League, FA Cup, Carabao Cup, and even Champions League in that manner. There is no way. Genuinely, there's no way, if we do not sign a forward, that we are going to do anything, because across the front 3 we have players who get injured on occasion. That includes also Martinelli, of course Gabriel Jesus, Bukayo Saka gets hacked and yanked and kicked and shoved and everything throughout every single game about 50 million times, and that in a way is also just a matter of time when it's happening. When Bukayo Saka is going down injured. As much as I would hate to see it, it is a big worry for me. And we still haven't had a replacement for that. Although the reports in the transfer rumor mill at the moment are suggesting that after Merino deal, Arsenal are in for a forward. Not specifically number 9, but most likely a winger, right wing / left wing, a player who can play most likely across the front 3, I would imagine, or at worst can play left wing and right wing. We're definitely gonna look in that into about in about few minutes. But overall, yeah, not a great look in general, because we haven't replaced key positions, we haven't got backups in key positions, because Saka goes out, we are done. Odegaard goes out, we're pretty much done. Saliba goes out. To be honest, I haven't seen a proper Saliba replacement yet in Arsenal's team. Obviously, you can argue Timber, but at the moment he's still injured. In a way, he's managing his injury load after that ACL injury. He has some, I think, tightness and heaviness into the leg, so that is not a great thing as well. Same goes for Kivior. In the preseason, if he didn't show that he cannot play right center back properly, I don't know what will. So that is also a big case, because at the moment we get an injury in certain place, in a certain position in the team, we pretty much can kiss our season goodbye. It's not even it's not no more a title battle, it's a top 4 battle, because on certain instances Arsenal and we in general are so reliant on certain positions in the team that it's actually quite interesting that if you take it out, we might crumble instantly. That is the case, because Arsenal's main source of attack many times is right-handed side, with Odegaard, Ben White and Bukayo Saka. Take Odegaard out, take Saka out, not to mention if genuinely everything, all bad things happen, take Odegaard and Saka out with injuries. We genuinely need to pretty much revamp the whole team, because from what we see every single game, it's more or less the same game plan. We don't see that many times plan B or plan C just in case something happens. And at the moment, it generally feels like Arsenal and Arteta still don't have a plan B or plan C. Because as soon as Arsenal go ahead, there is small doubts that any team more or less will come back into the game and Arsenal won't win. But as soon as Arsenal go down 1 goal, it's a whole different story. And to be honest, you could argue that as soon as Arsenal go 1 goal down, we play the best football you can imagine. Genuinely, Arsenal play the most fluid and best football because their backs are against the wall. And then we try and nick a goal, we actually do it most likely in the end, and that works as a charm, especially at the Emirates. But in that instance as well, as long as we play this more expansive, more fluid football like we did in the first season when we finished second, it's also very subjective to counterattacks, which 1 ball over the top and pretty much if you have a very pacey winger attacker, you are done for. And that is also the case. So that is the big thing. As soon as Arsenal go 1-0 down against a big team, we will come back at some point most likely. But while trying to come back, there's also a big chance we might concede. However, if we go 1 goal up, there is very small chance Arsenal will let the other team into the game back, because yes, there may be crosses, some dangerous positions, but on those instances when Arsenal 1 goal up, 2 goals up, 2-1, 3-1, 3-2, Arsenal don't look panicky. They look very composed, very, very sustained. They know what they need to do and they stick to it, and they don't step one step outside of the game plan. However, when we go 1 goal down, there is instantly, you can see some sort of a panic, some sort of uncertainty and some sort of nerves creeping in, because simple passes that usually don't get misplaced get misplaced. Certain shots tend to get taken very poorly. Some decision making is genuinely very, very questionable, and that is also a big worry, because those things don't happen too much at Arsenal, but when they do, it's showing massively. Not to mention, it is showing when we have the best team possible for Arsenal at the time on the pitch. Now imagine if we lose some of our best players. What's gonna happen then with that squad in those instances? It's not pretty. It's genuinely not good, and it's very, very worrying. And that's why throughout this whole transfer window, I've been very, very pushing for Arsenal to sign a striker, sign a forward, sign a winger, sign another midfielder, just in case something like that happens. Because we still don't have a backup for Odegaard and Saka. You could argue we need also a number 9, and that is the case at the moment. Genuinely is the case, and that is very, very, very worrying in this instance. So it all remains to see what's gonna happen, how it's gonna go. Oh, it's working! It is working! Big up, Nick Fadley. Welcome, Rebecca. Welcome. Here we go. Midfield is a must, and Zinni is a weak link. Striker, not a priority. Yeah, that is the thing. Striker, in general, might not be as big of a priority for Arsenal. Signing a forward, in the other hand, is a priority, should be a priority. Because Arsenal, like Mikel Arteta, they love the Swiss knife type of players. I'm very sorry, and we have those all across the pitch, right? And that is the case. Now the thing is, backup for Saka, you can even say could be Jesus. In that instance, you need to sign a number 9. But if you don't sign a number 9, you need to sign another right winger slash number 10 who can also cover maybe Saka and Odegaard. One of those. We need, that is the case for me. We need to sign a backup. Plus, Zini is a weak link. And I really hope he doesn't play left back, because Calafiori today debuted for Arsenal. We haven't touched on it, but we're gonna speak about it now. And he looked actually very, very lively. He was carrying the ball forward. He was pressing very, very high, by the way. Genuinely, he was pressing at the edge of opponent's box, which was kind of nuts. We don't usually see that from Ben White or anyone, and I think the fact that he's inverting in that instance maybe gives him green light to that, the way how Mikel Arteta plays. And that actually works as a charm, because he's actually very decent on defending. Yes, there is some instances where he misplays some passes, when he gets some decisions wrong, which is kind of understandable since he hasn't played for Arsenal whatsoever. This was his first game. He played for about half an hour. Also on defense, when he lost possession at times, he didn't sprint back. But overall, also that is understandable, because again, this is his first game in a very long time. And on top of that, he always had cover in that instance. Gabriel was there, Saliba was there at the time, or at that instance when we made subs, obviously there were some other players there. Plus he also played center back, so that was very interesting to see. He also tried to play center back for Arsenal, and he didn't look out of place. He actually looked very decent. Obviously, it was against the Lyon team, which is not the greatest opponent to judge anything by. But yeah, the counterattacks, exactly. That counterattack against Liverpool was the same again today, when the player killed him for pace like Salah did. Unfortunately, the Lyon player didn't get control right. Exactly, that is the case. For Zinchenko, for me, two things for me are, well, not two, but maybe three things as a defense that makes him a defensive liability. First things first, it is pace, because if he gets done for, he cannot recover. That's the first thing. Second of all, his defensive abilities is not up to par. He cannot defend properly. He got nutmegged by Trent, he cried, and they scored basically. And the third one, also by Sané last year, that wasn't bad. But the third one, which is more obvious than anything, his positional awareness, defensively specifically. Because it feels like he always loses his marker and he loses his own position. Because many times when we have seen us getting countered, for some weird reason, either he's the last man back due to the pace, or when he's a left back, somehow he winds himself up, finds himself being a center back or right back. There have been instances, and the left side is completely open and we can see the far post goal. There have been countless times of that. And to be honest, for me, Zinchenko is a midfielder who has been forced to play left back. And that is the case. Unless Arteta plans to start him at number 8 as a number 8. Not as inverted number 8 from left back, but as a number 8. He shouldn't be seeing left back position whatsoever. That at least for me is the case. Genuinely. There are left backs we can start. Obviously we have Timber, but he's now injured. We have Calafiori. If Calafiori is good enough and he can start in that place, and then maybe we can test out Zinchenko as a number 8. Cool. The thing is, we haven't done that since Zinchenko has arrived. We haven't played Zinchenko as an out-and-out number 8, like in that Granit Xhaka role, quote-unquote, whatsoever. Arteta generally feels like doesn't see him in that light at all. And that is a big worry in general. Now, we're gonna talk about transfers now. Arsenal won 2-0 in 6 days. Arsenal kick off Premier League, and it is very, very important they are fully prepared, because game against Wolves, no matter what, won't be easy game. Like, under Iriola, they are actually playing very good football. No, it's not Iriola, my bad, Gary O'Neill. Under Gary O'Neill, they're actually playing some decent football. Yes, they have lost Pedro Neto to Chelsea, which is kind of annoying, because I would, even though he's injury prone, he actually is arguably top 3 winger in the league, and I would love to see him at Arsenal, but it is what it is at the end of the day. But overall, yeah, Arsenal start in 6 days Premier League. They play against Wolves. Against Wolves, I don't see an easy game happening, especially the way how they can play the low block. and Arsenal have always struggled with beating the low block. So it will be very, very interesting how that goes. He isn't ready. He looks rough around the edges to take that role right now. He looked solid when he went center back. But give him time and they'll catch him. They'll coach him. I assume you're speaking about Calafiori, and that is the case. At left back, he looked a bit out of place. Yeah, at Calafiori obviously for Bologna played at center back. They play 3 at the back, well, as most Italian teams, 3 at the back / 5 at the back, and he played that left center back more often than not. So that is why he looked at that center back spot more at place than actually left back. But you could see that at left back also he has quite a bit to offer for Arsenal. The question is how long it will take to him to adapt to that new role, because Arteta even last year in preseason tried to coach Tomiyasu there, but Tomiyasu is very injury prone, so cannot kind of rely on him, and Tomiyasu doesn't have what it takes in a way as well. So that all remains to be seen. And on Timber, yeah, Timber might be back for Wolves. That is also the case. The question is, will Arsenal play him even if he's back? Because for me, the way I see it, we haven't seen him in training properly. We saw him in preseason, but overall, I think the fact that he has just come back from ACL and the fact that he has to put such pressure and burden on that leg instantly, it might have been too much. I don't think the leg has fully adjusted to the fact that he just had surgeries, he had to come back and to the tempo, basically, the heaviness, what it takes out of basically Urian himself to kind of play with that leg. And I think Arsenal at the moment is going to try and play it as safe as possible. And that's why I generally believe that today's starting 11 is that 11 that will start against Wolves, with Zinchenko at left back. Now, the good part is that playing against Wolves at home, it's not the worst game to play Zinchenko at left back, obviously, because he actually will do the job. Wolves are not that threatening on a counter as you would seem, especially if they don't have Pedro Neto now. Now, this might get clipped up, it might be my last famous words I say here, but overall that's how I feel. If our starting season in the first game was against a team that exploits wingers to a certain extent massively, on a counter, over the top and everything, we might have a massive issue. Although, yeah, we will see how the Wolves look, because Wolves in preseason actually look very, very solid in my opinion. I watched some games, the way they play, they look actually very decent. Tommy adapted well, I thought, bit slow at the start, yes. When he started finding his feet, the injuries, yeah, that is the biggest thing. That is the biggest, that is not worry, but that is the biggest ick, the biggest annoyance, and the biggest thing that pisses me off with Tomiyasu in a way. Because as soon as you see Tomiyasu starting to shine, find his form, find his place in the team, grasping the concept, how he needs to play, what he needs to do, how he needs to do it, instantly hit with injury. Because there was a point last season when he actually at right back looked more solid than Ben White. There was a time when he played about 3-4 games when he looked incredible. And many people, not many, but quite a few people started to say that he should start next game in front of Ben White, because Ben White was playing with injury, if I'm not mistaken at the time still. And now at the end, as soon as that started to come out, that Tomiyasu maybe should start in front of Ben White at certain games because Ben White is still carrying an injury, didn't take long. Legitimately, it felt like next day, Tomiyasu injured, he's out for 2 months or something, it was out for a month or 2 months, and Ben White had to come instantly back. And that is one of the biggest things that annoys me with Tomiyasu, because you can see that there's a very good player there. Good squad player, good player that fits all across the back line, who can do a job very, very good, but the issue lies into the fact that he is injury prone, more or less. And the fact is that as soon as Tomiyasu starts to hit, I don't want to say prime Tomiyasu, but a very, very good form, very strong form, a form that coaches want basically, to give you headache before every match, to try and think which player to select for right back, left back, like that no position is safe in the team, he instantly gets injured. And that is the thing that annoys me very much with Tomiyasu, because it happened last year, and it happened the season when we signed him as well. For the first few games he looked amazing, and then bang, he got hit with an injury, and again everything he worked for got denied for him, basically. Because I still remember the game when Arteta put him at left back to cover Mohamed Salah against Liverpool, and everyone's thinking, what the hell is he doing? Only reason I saw him to do that is because of his height, because Liverpool like to play long diagonals over the top, and to not allow Salah to cut in, because if Salah cuts in, Tomiyasu has the strong foot to make a tackle, and it worked like a charm. Since that game, he started to build some momentum, and again, few games in, he gets injured, and again he's out, and we have to play Zinchenko or whoever was there at the time. And that is the thing. Tomiyasu's injuries is the thing that's holding him back the most. Because he needs a few games to get it going, he gets it going, everyone gets excited, including Tomiyasu, I would assume, and bang, he gets injured, and he's done for, and he has to start all over again. And that is very, very annoying with Tomiyasu. I think that's annoying to himself, by the way, in a way as well. Anyhow, transfers, and about all transfers, basically. We can finally get into transfers to talk about them. According to Purple Panel, it looks like Arsenal are not plotting a move to sign Victor Osimhen as revealed back in June. And I think Arsenal were never properly in for Osimhen, because as much as they... Oh, big up, thank you. Thank you, Gleken? I would assume Gleken, something like that. I don't know how to pronounce the AE. It sounds very, I don't know, Danish or Swedish or something like that. Gleken. Thank you much. Thank you very, very much. Arsenal didn't plan to sign him. Yes, there were rumors that Arsenal contacted and everything, but that most of it came out from Italy, Gazzetta dello Sport, and all them places, Di Marzio and stuff like that. But when I did streams and videos about Osimhen, most of Napoli fans instantly started to tweet me, message me, it's a lie, it's not happening, and at the end of the day, it looks like it's been confirmed. Arsenal have never fully been in for him, so it remains to be seen what's gonna happen with him, how it's gonna go, but best of luck wherever he is going. There are some reports, according to Team News and Six, that Arsenal are obviously exploring some winger options. We're gonna talk about them in a second as well, and one of the latest ones is Adingra. The Brighton winger from Ivory Coast, which is very interesting. Arsenal haven't had an Ivory Coast player since Nicolas Pepe. Then before that, it was Gervinho, and before that, obviously, it's Kolo Touré. Yeah, I think those are the three that come instantly to mind. But yeah, it's very interesting. He's very young, 22. He has arguably lots of potential. He can play both wings, left wing, right wing. He's young, so he fits kind of the mold Arteta wants. Although in most of the reports during this transfer window, it's been said that Arsenal want to sign more established, more experienced players. And yeah, Adingra doesn't fit that category. However, Adingra would, as a backup for Saka, quick, direct, needs working on his skills and product. It is what it is, but I think he would be also very costly, about 40 million if I'm not mistaken. I think I have checked him already before. Yes, I have. I think he would be kind of costly, no? 30 million euros, that's about 25 million pounds. Arsenal want him. He has a 2-year deal left. I would say about 30 to 35 million pounds. One season in Premier League and 6 goals, 1 assist in 31 games. Let me know in the chat, would you take him at Arsenal for 35 million as a backup? Would you take him as a backup at Arsenal? Not sure. I wouldn't personally. I personally wouldn't. I would invest money somewhere else, but it is a report. Now, according to Daniel Longo, who works at the Italian sports media, Juventus are slowly reviving their interest in Kivior and will decide definitely early next week, I assume the Monday, Tuesday or Wednesday, if they will try to sign him or not. The thing is, Arsenal will only accept permanent sale or loan with obligation. Now, Arsenal this transfer window, besides Emil Smith-Rowe, hasn't sold anyone pretty much. They have loaned everyone out with options and obligations to buy. Because even if you have obligation to buy, you have some some sort of objectives you need to meet in a way to kind of make it happen. So it all remains to be a question. The thing is, Arsenal signed Kivior only year and a half ago. Selling him now more or less is admitting that this project has failed with this player. And also, if you want to sell Kivior, you need to sell him for some profit, given that Arsenal signed him for 25 million, I think it was. I think Arsenal signed him for 25 million, if I'm not mistaken. Arsenal signed him for 20 million euros. That's about what? 17 million pounds. Arsenal signed Kivior for 17 million pounds. His value has risen to 30 million euros, which is about 26 million pounds, which is not bad, to be honest. If Arsenal could sell him for about 30 million pounds, it would make them, I would say, about 10 to 12 million return on the investment, ROI, which is something I assume Edu really wants. I wouldn't be against that. We are very stacked in defensive position, and at some point some of the defenders need to go. And the defenders that have been linked with Arsenal leaving more than not is Kivior and Tierney. We haven't heard anything about Tierney since he's injured, and I assume Arsenal are struggling to sell him because of that. And the second one is Kivior, because he has been spoken the most in talks about Inter Milan, AC Milan, and Juventus. Also Bologna in a swap deal, potentially. There were some rumors. But Juventus will next week decide, in the early next week, whether they want to sign Kivior or not. If Arsenal want to accept permanent sale, I hope they ask for about 30 million at least. Because he's still very young, 24. I wouldn't say that's bad. He still hasn't hit his prime. Can play left back / left center back. Arsenal bought him for about 17 to 19 million pounds. If they can sell him for 30 million, I am all for it, to be honest. Because at some point you need to get rid of certain players, and at some point you cannot keep them, basically. At some point you need to admit that certain positions, the certain players you have signed, you've messed up. Because, let's be real, there are signings who will bang, like for example, Gabriel signed Mikel Arteta together with Edu. That has gone massively well. And on the other hand, you have signed players like Marquinhos, Fabio Vieira, to be honest, still to this day. I haven't seen anything that proves him that he's Arsenal worthy. We're going to talk about Vieira in about a few minutes, and he's injured again, so that's going well. So that remains to be seen. But Kivior, if Arsenal managed to sell him for good money, I wouldn't be against it. Now, Terry Flowers, you know, the football terrace, or when you can call him the Arsenal terrace, because the amount Arsenal players have been linked with, he speaks about Arsenal almost every single day, pretty much, or every single day. Possible candidates for Arsenal's move for Mikel Merino from Sociedad is reported to be imminent. According to reports, Arsenal will sign Merino next week. That's according to rumors and reports. We will have to wait and see what's going to happen with that. After that, it's very likely that Arsenal will target a wide forward. Though that also were the reports that after signing a midfielder, Arsenal will go to sign a forward. In this instance, most likely it's not going to be a number 9, because let's be real, the number 9 market is very slim. Unless you pay about 150 million, you're not getting a top player. Now, at the same time, we're going to talk about a few players Arsenal could get, but obviously are deciding not to get. But yeah, Arsenal might turn their attention to wide players, which also has been rumored throughout the whole transfer window. And the potential players include Bakayoko, who we have been linked with during early transfer window times, Adingra, who we just spoke about a few minutes ago, Leroy Sané, which would be very interesting if he signed. In my opinion, the way I have seen this on Twitter, I have seen this on YouTube in general, Arsenal fan base on signing Leroy Sané are very split. Some of them want him, some of them don't. Some think he's washed and he's done past his prime. Some of them think he will cook for us and do very, very great. The thing about Sané is, though, if we sign Leroy Sané, let's forget at this stage about money we pay him for him and the wages we pay him, right? Where would he play? Because he can play left wing, he can play right wing. On occasions for Bayern Munich, he also plays number 10, but we're gonna ignore that. So if we sign him, most likely we'll have to put him on about 200 grand a week, because he gets more than that actually at Bayern Munich. Which means, for me, if you pay 200 grand a week for a player, he needs to start. And now where do you start Leroy Sané in this instance? Right wing? No, because Bukayo Saka, nobody is replacing him. Left wing? Maybe instead of Martinelli and Trossard. And what does that mean for Martinelli and Trossard? Will Martinelli become a backup? Will Trossard go in that number 10 spot potentially? Or we will use him to cover also the right wing spot? That is the big question for me at the moment. Genuinely, that is the big question if we go for Sané. And Adeyemi, I don't want Adeyemi. There is a good player in there, but in the Champions League final against Borussia, against Real Madrid, we saw he had two clear-cut chances to score. Going out one-on-one he had, and he fluffed them both. Yes, there is a player there. Yes, there is pace, there is skilled and all that stuff, but he needs to grow a bit more to take Arsenal to next level. Now, we're gonna talk about that. And obviously, two players didn't feature in today's game against Lyon. Obviously, Edin Nketiah was on the bench, but it looks like he didn't play. It looks like Arsenal are protecting him to avoid injuries because it looks like he's gonna move to Marseille after all. Same happened with Emil Smith-Rowe. He flew with Arsenal to USA. As soon as there were links with Fulham and they started to come more and more real, he didn't play whatsoever in the USA. I think same's happening with Nketiah here. But Timber didn't play due to slight foot issue, which most likely comes from ACL and everything, over exhaustion and over stress and everything. But Fabio Vieira had a slight hip issue. Now the question is, what is this slight hip issue? That is the reason he was on the bench on the team sheet, but he didn't play. The question is, what is this slight hip issue he has? Because generally, what have I seen from Fabio Vieira at Arsenal? Pretty much nothing. Scored a long shot against Brentford, got a red card against Wolves, I think it was, or was it Palace? I forgot now on top of my head. And he's been injured for the most of the time. Well, not most of the time, but quite a bit, and he hasn't seen the daylight since. And that is the big question. Arteta has tested him out at number 10. He has tested him out at number 8. And also we have seen Arteta to test him out at right wing. And this is the big thing. Just like Arsene Wenger used to say, young players who are midfielders, they tend to get put out at wings at times. Because if you lose the ball at wing, it's not as detrimental to the defense if you lose the ball in the midfield. And Fabio Vieira has this issue where he, as technically gifted as he might be, he is very weak. He doesn't have the physicality to hold off opponents, and he gets dispossessed quite easily many times. And if he does that as a number 8, the last number 8, and we have maybe one or two center backs only at the back because our wing backs have committed going forward, our number 8 has gone to play on the edge of the box and everything, we are screwed because we're gonna get hit on a counter, and against a good team with pacey good finishers, we are done for. And now he has been tried out the wing, and I generally believe the reason why he's been getting tried out at wing is because he is not good enough to play in midfield. The question is, let's forget about all that. Fabio Vieira has a slight hip issue. He didn't play in today's game. How long is he gonna be out for? That is the thing, because slight hip issue can mean anything. Jurriën Timber has slight foot issue, but he hasn't been in training whatsoever, and he hasn't trained whatsoever since it got announced about a week and a half ago. Which means if it's the same level of injury, again, Fabio Vieira could be out a few weeks, which is not great. Even though I want him to get sold, I wanted to get sold over Smith-Rowe, but at the end of the day, Mikel Arteta has vouched that this is the season Fabio Vieira will become good. Okay, if he doesn't, sell him next summer. I don't care. Because for me at the moment, he's not good enough. People are trying to tell me that this season is the season when Fabio Vieira becomes useful to Arsenal. I don't see it. Genuinely, I don't see it. I'm gonna be honest with you. Let me know down in comments and in the chat what you think. But I don't see Fabio Vieira this season to making any big plays to change Arsenal's fortunes in a certain game, to change the game's outcome. I generally don't see it. Maybe some other people see it. Let me know if you see it. But at the moment, I do not. And now, talking about other things. According to Football Transfers and some reports, Arsenal are in discussion with Ethan Nwanieri over a 5-year contract. According to Football Transfers, obviously Arsenal fought very hard and very resiliently to keep Ethan Nwanieri few seasons ago when he was still 15 for him not to go to other clubs when there was interest, and we gave him the first professional contract before he actually reached the professional contract age, just to keep him at the club and for the future. And it looks like this deal has paid off, because Arsenal at the moment is ready to reward a 17-year-old who has signed till 2026 a contract he pinned in March. Yeah, in March he would sign him. The maximum allowed due to his age. Under current regulations, players can only commit to longer contracts once they turn 18. So, basically, as soon as he turns 18, I assume there will be some massive contract extensions happening. However, the sources inform us talks have already begun regarding the extend and improve deal once Nwanieri hits the milestone. As soon as he turns 18, potentially he will sign a contract till 2030, which, to be honest, is a great deal. The way I see Nwanieri, he could be the best academy product we have had, if we speak midfielder-wise, since Cesc Fabregas, I'm not gonna lie. Because we didn't see full impact of Jack Wilshere, who got ridiculed with injuries, unfortunately. So he might be the best one since Cesc Fabregas. Although Cesc Fabregas also came here for Barcelona, played one season in the under-20s, and then instantly got called up and was captaining the team. But yeah, it's very interesting. He might be the best young talent, I would say, than since Bukayo Saka. You don't get players like that very often. Generally, once in 10 to 20 years, maybe you get one of these gems. And looks like Arsenal might be having one right now, straight after few years after Bukayo Saka. Which obviously is a very good thing. And Arsenal are trying to tie him down as soon as possible. Now, will Ethan Nwanieri get some game time next season? Now, according to Mikel Arteta and some reports that was about a few weeks ago, Mikel Arteta has promised him proper minutes this season. Genuinely, he has promised, and I genuinely believe that he is good enough. He is good enough to come in, maybe not in a game where it's 1-1 and we need the winning goal, maybe, but when it's like 2-0 and something like that, he definitely is good enough to come on and do the thing. Skelly and Nwanieri will get minutes in the first team next season if they continue their trajectory, according to Mikel Arteta. Skelly was originally a midfielder, but has been adapting to a new role as a left-back. And this was the thing. When they were in USA, there were reports that Arteta sees Miles Skelly as a left-back who can invert into midfield. So basically the same thing Zinchenko does, which is very, very interesting. His versatility was on display when he replaced Zinchenko at halftime against Leverkusen, and today happened the same thing. He was playing left back and inverting into midfield against Lyon, which is very interesting. Arteta has this big obsession with left backs inverting into midfield. However, the big question is, if he sees Miles Lewis-Skelly as a left back here who inverts into midfield, somebody has to go. If we count Lewis-Skelly in, we have about 6 or 7 left backs. We have, okay, let's do this. Zinchenko, who can invert, Kivior, Tomiyasu, Timber, Calafiori. Now we have Miles Lewis-Skelly, and of course we also have Tierney. So technically we have 7 left backs. Tierney has to go, so we have 6. And there are some rumors that Kivior might be on the transfer list, or not transfer list, but on the list of Juventus, and they will decide whether they're gonna go for him next week. So we have 5. Zinchenko remains to be seen, but it looks like Miles Lewis-Skelly could be set for a left back role as well to invert. Nwanieri entered the game for 30 minutes remaining, taking from Odegaard. That was against Leverkusen. Arteta has no gun record and everything. The pair. But to be honest, yeah, Arteta has said if they're showing the quality, they have the personality, they have to play at this level, let's see, why would we put any restrictions? If they deserve minutes, they get minutes. And that makes a lot of sense, because sometimes you need to be very observant and ruthless as a manager, not picking the player who has the bigger name, who has the biggest salary, or biggest following on social media, but the player who is in the best of forms. And that's why sometimes the teams fall from grace. Sometimes teams lose certain games because they pick names over the form. Because you can be the best player in the world, genuinely. But if you are on a very bad form, yet someone who is your backup is on a great form, that great form will do much better than the player who is in bad form. Obviously, the names carries a big weight, but it is what it is. In other news, if we talk about Merino, daily Mikel Merino is back on track for today, guys. Let's look what about Mikel Merino has been said. Real Sociedad are desperate to stop deals with Arsenal and Liverpool. Real Sociedad have already lost, basically, not lose, but okay. Robin Lenormand this summer, yeah, Robin Lenormand is actually a very good defender. He has gone to Atletico Madrid, and he is Diego Simeone type of defender. No nonsense, get the job done and get the hell out of my face. And that is something they gone for. And there's also a very, very real possibility that could end up parting ways with two more key players. Those being Mikel Merino, who has been linked with Arsenal obviously, and Zubimendi, who has been respectively linked with Liverpool in recent days. La Real had appeared to resign the losing both resigned losing all, but they've now ramped up their efforts to keep them at San Sebastian. Obviously, have Spanish reports from Noticias de Guipuzcoa have reported that the club has improved their contract offers for both players, and that is the case. They have improved the contract offers. Merino's contract runs out next year, although he has already agreed with Arsenal. Alleged, by the looks of things, that he actually might be moving. Zubimendi, on the other hand, has already said he wants to stay in Spain. Then he got linked with Liverpool, and then it's now the matter of time. Obviously, Liverpool can pay his release clauses, but it's still on the player to agree to the deal or not. And that's the thing. If even one of them agree to contract extension, their release clauses, which is pretty much a mandatory thing in the contracts in Spain, will skyrocket. Zubimendi won't have 60 million release clauses, they will have like 80 or 100 even, and Merino will go up to 50 to 60 instantly as well. That this would make Merino and Zubimendi the highest paid players in obviously in Sociedad, although it's likely that they would still be paid more if they move to Premier League, which obviously makes a lot of sense because English football has more money. It might not be the best league in the world, arguably, as it gets PR'd, but it has the most money for sure and everything. The report knows that Merino's future should be resolved in the next few days, as it reports that Merino should be signed to Arsenal next week. So we basically sit here patiently, twiddle our thumbs and wait for it to happen, basically. Arsenal have been pushing hard to sign him ever since Euro 2024 ended, but so far nothing has been decided. Well, it's very contradicting reports, but it looks like it's gonna get decided according to other reports. Liverpool are also expecting to have Zubimendi in their squad ahead of Premier League season kicking off next weekend. That would be a very nuts move if they manage to sign Merino legitimately in a few days. Although paying release clauses doesn't take too long. You put the money on the table, player wants to come, he comes, he signs, and job done. That's what we did with Thomas Partey a few years ago. Real Sociedad are banking on their players remaining loyal to the club, although it's far from certain that either Merino or Zubimendi will continue beyond the summer. The situations are finally poised at this stage, and that is the case. In this instance, the biggest losers are Real Sociedad, because if they lose them both, they have lost three key main players of the team. If they lose only Merino, nothing bad, because they have Zubimendi if he stays. If they lose Zubimendi and Merino stays, it is a bit of a different one, but it's still nothing bad to them. The thing that is worrying me in this instance is if one of them gets obviously if one of them gets signed before the other one, the other guy could look at the contract offer and think, I could get more, I could get decent money, I could become the centerpiece around the team and everything. That could be the only reason why one of them stays. And I generally believe that there might be a possibility that, for example, if Arsenal sign Merino, Zubimendi stays. And despite agreeing terms with Arsenal, if Zubimendi signs to Liverpool before Arsenal, there is a possibility, I think maybe it's 1%, it's a very small possibility, but there is a possibility that Merino actually might stay at Real Sociedad. And if that happens, Arsenal are screwed to the maximum level, no questions asked. Because then they will have to go into the market with 2 weeks left into the window, because at the moment it's, 3 weeks left in the window, but then they will have about 2.5 weeks, and they will have to panic buy on certain level, and then it's not great. But we'll have to wait and see what's gonna happen in this instance. We will have to wait and see. 50 million striker who Ian Wright told Arsenal to buy could now be on his way to Saudi Arabia. And we are talking here about Ivan Toney, which is kind of interesting because no top team has gone in for Ivan Toney. And you may say that this is because the massive amount of money you need to pay, that the Brentford are demanding 80 or 50 million, but they're not. Because according to latest reports, they are demanding from 30 to 40 million, which is actually very interesting because besides City, every single team in top 6 needs a striker, well, excluding Aston Villa maybe, and Newcastle, but overall, if you think about it, proper striker, United needs one, Arsenal needs one, Liverpool also would need one in my opinion. Spurs, well, they now signed Solanke, and that is the big case, so I'm talking about this even more. Also needs one. They signed Solanke for 65 million. 65 million. If the reports are true that Ivan Toney is available from 30 to 40 million, it's a big question mark why, for example, Spurs haven't gone for him. Because we all know that Spurs owner, the Daniel Levy, is a very big stingy bastard, like Scrooge McDuck basically. And he loves a bargain price. And signing Toney for a bit more than half of the worth of Solanke would have made a lot of sense in this instance. So that begs the big question. Why none of the big teams are going for Ivan Toney? What's wrong with him? Is there something going like behind closed doors they have discussed and given information to all the teams that is maybe stopping them from signing him, or what? Because we all heard that Mikel Arteta has met with Ivan Toney. They had an interview. Ivan Toney said all the great things, that he wants to play for Arsenal, he wants to score goals, he wants to come here, he wants to win and do all that stuff. But at the end, Mikel Arteta said no thank you pretty much. He stood up and went away. And then the reports started to come out that Arteta didn't like the way he present himself, his personality. And that is the big question. Are all the teams put off so much by his personality? Or is the gambling ban he had that big of an issue that they don't want to taint themselves with that on the off chance that it happens again? Or what? Because Ivan Toney at the moment is available for bargain price. Would I take him at Arsenal for 30 to 40 million? No shadow of a doubt. The question is, why no team is going for him? That is for me the big question that needs to be answered here. Because no teams are going for him. None of the big teams, because in January he was linked with big teams. Brentford wanted 80 million. Beginning of the window, they want 80 million. Now, 2 months of the window have passed. They want only 30 to 40 million. So they have dropped their demands by more than a half in the price, which is massive amount of money. The question is, are they so desperate to get rid of him because they know that something's coming up, and other teams know that something's coming up and they're not signing him, or everyone thinks they don't need a striker? It's one of the two. There's no reason for such a caliber player of Ivan Toney, who guarantees you pretty much goals more or less every single, if not every other game, who is England international and everything, not being demanded on the market, especially given how thin the striker market is, and in the fact that most of the teams in Premier League need a striker. That includes top 6 sides as well. So this is a very, very weird one. Very weird one. If I had a chance, I would put my money on Ivan Toney. No pun intended, put my money on Ivan Toney. No pun intended, of course, in betting. But if he's available for 30 to 40 million, why not? We signed Fabio Vieira for 34 million. Spending the same amount of Ivan Toney, why not? 100% he will score more than him. He won't be as injury prone. He will give us more value in the games. But it remains, Arteta doesn't like his personality, and we are not signing him according to reports. So that is going very, very well. Anyhow, now, let's see if there are any other reports on Arsenal. Any other reports on Arsenal? Calafiori made debut, we talked about that. 32 million star who wanted to sell this summer suddenly looks crucial after brilliant Lyon display. Who looked brilliant? Who we are talking about here? Zinchenko. Ay, Dios mío, 2 friendly games with teams that put no pressure on our defense, and all of a sudden he's the next thing since sliced bread. Give over. Unless you play him as a starting number 8, not a left back who inverts in number 8, I don't want to see him play at our left back. Because, yes, he contributes offensively, but defensively, he's a massive liability. Defending, pace, positional awareness, those three key attributes for him, not good enough and hasn't been good enough. For Ukraine, most of the time he plays midfield because Mykolenko, who plays for Everton, plays at left back. Why doesn't Arteta want to try him at midfield? That is the big question for me, especially our number 8 issues in this instance. But hey ho, here we are. Let's see. Arsenal provides Timber Tomiyasu injury update. Arteta interview has come out. We're gonna definitely talk about that tomorrow. What has he said? Got it. What has he said? He said. Arsenal boss Arteta said Tomiyasu would have to be patient while he works his way back to full. It will take weeks on that one, unfortunately. So basically, Tomiyasu is out for at least a month. So he's out still for at least a month. Don't care. Summer signing Calafiori was kind of his first minutes. I love it when the fans support us. Yeah. Arteta has been pleased with Arsenal's development, and it's really good test again today. Overall, blah 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 blah. So nothing new in that regard. And Timber is expected to return next week, so he might be on the bench for Wolves game. Basically, Tomiyasu is out for a month at least. Timber is back next week, so that is some good news for Arsenal in a certain sense. So nothing new here. Anyways, I guess we might just chat. And the big question is, Arsenal, who they gonna sign this transfer window still besides Mikel Merino? Will they sign anyone, or will it be, or they won't sign anyone? Actually, that also might be the case. Arsenal might not sign anyone. And will they sign a forward? Will they sign a striker? Because it looks like we will sign Merino, just the question is when. By looks of things, it's not in the bag, but those are just rumors. Other rumors that Arsenal after Merino are going for a forward. The question is who, because the reports are saying it might be Adingra, it might be Bakayoko, it might be, who else was there? I already don't remember. Sane? I don't even know, because there are lots of options, and Arsenal, to be honest, haven't been properly linked to any of them. It's all speculation. There have been no concrete interest in any of them, which is quite interesting. But tomorrow is Monday. Let's be real, new work week, which means transfer business will start to pick up again. Usually the biggest days for transfers is Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Saturday, Sunday depends on time. If it's close to transfer window being closed, then it's interesting. Otherwise, it's a 50-50 and everything. Be excited, genuinely. Just like they say, be excited, as Josh Kroenke said 5 years ago, and as Mikel Arteta said this year, believe that we will sign someone. Genuinely, sit here and believe. Big up Mr. X in the chat. Believe. Yeah. If you watch WWE, you know Bo Dallas years back, you know, all you gotta do is believe and everything. That's basically how Arsenal are at the moment operating in the market. You have to watch, you have to sit, watch, and pray that it happens. Basically, we sign someone or not. But still, the biggest thing that is still making me uneasy from today's game I'm talking about is the fact that Gabriel Martinelli went down 2 times with his shoulder, and we're lucky he didn't got injured, but we have a backup there in Trossard, which is not that big of a deal. But Jesus went down 1 or 2 times, and one of the times he had to be taken care of by medical staff, which is not a great thing, because as I said, my biggest thing that happened instantly there, my heart sunk, because my 2 first things was I hope he's okay, and then instantly, oh shit, Arsenal don't have a striker. And that is the big case, and this is the thing why Arsenal should, in my opinion, sign at least a forward who can also play a striker, unless Arteta envisions playing Martinelli at striker or Trossard at striker, or the new winger will be signed as striker if they, for example, signs Leroy Sané and plays him as a number 9. The thing is, Sané, for example, would be on about 200 grand a week, and 200 grand a week player, I don't think he's very smart to make him sit on the bench, so he might has to be a starter, and then again comes the issue who you bench and everything. So it's all up in the air. Arsenal are very, very slow in this transfer market, and not as much. It's pissing me off because I'm kind of past that. I'm past the pain of this as well because I've been through also per check transfer window when we signed no one except per check. This more is now just, it is what it is. I'm kind of like the 5 stages of grief. Denial, what is denial, anger, acceptance, and all those things, right? Bargaining, acceptance, and everything. I've kind of am at the acceptance level in the last level of this, and it is what it is because I've kind of have made amends that Arsenal, besides Merino, actually might not sign anyone, and if they do, they will sign someone who actually might not be good enough, and that is the case. And then we're gonna go into the season, and at some point there's a big possibility that it will all come crashing down, like the walls of Jericho and all that stuff. Let's wait and see. Generally, let's wait and see. That was a bit too depressing for my liking as well, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna leave you here. If you're new around here, don't forget to subscribe, smash that thumbs up. Don't forget to comment in the chat, in the comments if you're watching this as a playback. All that good stuff. Take care, stay safe. Have a great rest of your Sunday. Enjoy your Monday as much as you can, by the way. Have a good work week. Have a good start of it. And to be honest, enjoy it as much as you can. And let's hope Arsenal in 6 days when they play against Wolves are fully ready for it.